Hello and welcome to this Against the Storm tutorial on Playable Species. As I mentioned in the introductory tutorial, this series will be covering all aspects of the gameplay, all the various features and mechanics of the game. However, with the game still being in early access, some of these aspects may be altered slightly or greatly throughout the development period. When that happens, I plan to provide some kind of update, either with an updated tutorial video or at a minimum as a pinned comment. With that said, let's get started. In Against the Storm, there are currently 4 playable species. There is a 5th playable species planned for release during the next 6 months on the current roadmap. If you're watching this video much later, you may already have access to that 5th species. The first species in the game is human. Humans are an adaptable species, but very susceptible to the rain. Humans are adept at farming and really enjoy brewing. These symbols are important. As you get into the game and you start playing a settlement, you will sometimes find these symbols on a building's recipe screen. These symbols indicate that this building will give benefits to this race if they work here. One of two benefits is either a higher resolve or higher production output. Sometimes both together. I'll cover those more when I cover recipes and buildings. For now, every race has a set of needs. Some of those are food-based, such as jerky, biscuits, and pie. One of those is always housing-based. So, actually 2 of those are always housing-based. Humans prefer to live in human housing. Every race has their own dedicated housing. Humans like to wear clothing, specifically coats. This helps them fight against the rain and makes them happy. They enjoy leisure, which is fulfilled by drinking ale. They enjoy religion, which is fulfilled by burning incense. And they require shelter, which is tied to the specific housing, but they'll also live in a generic housing as well. In addition to their needs, every race has a set of attributes. These attributes are all revolved around, or many of them are revolved around their resolve and how the resolve behaves throughout the course of the game. And then, of course, they have a break interval time as well. The base resolve is the amount of resolve that the species has to start the game with. By getting any of these needs fulfilled, the resolve will go up. And through other aspects of the game, the resolve can go down as well. Those will be covered in other tutorials. They will take a break every so often. In this case, they will take a break for every 2 minutes in the game. This is, I believe, adjustable by various aspects of the game besides just being a fixed 2 minutes. And then there are 3 attributes that affect resolve: resilience, demanding, and decadent. A resilient race will be affected by change to their conditions more slowly. So if they had a house and they all of a sudden don't have a house, a resilient race will not feel that effect fully as fast, whereas a low resilient race will feel it much faster. A demanding race requires more resolve to generate reputation. The higher the demandingness, the higher the resolve that's needed to generate reputation from resolve. Which means the more of these you need to provide to them in order to generate reputation. Reputation will be covered in a dedicated tutorial on reputation and impatience. And finally, decadent. This is how often the meter increases for their demand. A more decadent species need more resolve to generate subsequent reputation points. So in other words, they raise the bar, whereas a low decadence species doesn't raise the bar as fast, or perhaps at all. So now we've looked at humans, let's take a look at beavers. Beavers are hardworking and honest, but also quite demanding. They are gifted woodworkers and enjoy engineering. They like things like biscuits and pickled goods. They like to live in beaver-specific housing, of course, but they will take any generic shelter as well. They also like to have coats. They like to drink ale to earn leisure. They like to study scrolls for education. And they like to drink wine for luxury. Their base resolve is only 10, whereas the humans was 15. Their break interval is also 2 minutes. They also have a low resilience, but they are highly demanding, which means that they have a higher threshold before they will start generating reputation from resolve. But their decadence is low, which means that that threshold does not move up very fast. Lizards are a very resilient and distrustful species. They are very good with animals and meat production, and prefer to work in warm environments due to their cold-blooded nature. They enjoy eating jerky, pie, pickled goods, and skewers. They of course prefer lizard housing, but they will live in any type of generic shelter as well. They enjoy burning incense for religion, and they enjoy brawling. Their base resolve is only 5. They have a faster or shorter break interval at 1 minute 40 seconds. Their resilience is high, which means that changes do not affect them as much. So if they lose their house, or if they suddenly lose access to the foods they like, their resolve will not change as fast. They are moderately demanding, and they are highly decadent, which means that for every time you reach the point where they start generating resolve, you'll have to increase more and more resolve generating items in order to generate reputation from resolve with them over time. And finally, the harpies. Harpies are a noble and fragile species with a primal aggressive side to them. They excel at alchemy and love to work with cloth. They like to eat jerky, biscuits, and skewers. They of course prefer harpy housing, but will live in a generic house as well. They like to study scrolls for education. They like to brawl, and they prefer cleanliness by using cosmetics. Their base resolve is also 5, like the lizards, and they have the same break interval as the lizards. However, they are very low resilience, so they will react to changes very quickly. Thankfully, though, they are low demanding, so they are very easy to get to that threshold and start generating reputation. And their decadence is low, therefore that marker does not move very fast. With that concludes this tutorial on the various playable species. These will of course be mentioned and expanded upon in several of the other tutorials as things like these symbols come up in the recipe screens, as we look at the character panels in the settlement window as well, and proceed through the rest of the tutorials in this series. If you have any questions or comments, or would like to offer a suggestion on a new tutorial, another tutorial idea, please reach out to me in the comment section of this or any of these tutorial videos, or through another communication channel such as Discord. You can find the link to that in the description of this and all my videos. And finally, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you're enjoying this game as much as I do. And I hope to see you in another later tutorial or in the parallel Let's Play series. Thank you for watching, and have a good one. Bye for now.